Hello parents, it's the end of the day and the last kid has gone home. I am Miss Amiot and I just wanted to talk to you just real briefly about some of the things that are unique in my classroom this year and to give you just a brief overview of my behavior management procedures. So this is my second year teaching first grade at Chapel Hill. Before that, I lived in Costa Rica for 15 years, and I was a teacher in Costa Rica as well. I taught adults English, and I taught kids 5th grade. So I was a 5th grade teacher. So coming down from 5th grade to 1st grade was a bit of adjustment last year, but I survived and I learned a lot, and made some tweaks this year, which seem to be really working well. And so we have included more routines in our day, and that seems to be helping things to go more smoothly. I am also a mom. I have 3 kids of my own. 2 of them are grown. My son Taylor is married, and his wife's name is Kayla. And he is 24, if I remember correctly. He's 24, and then my daughter is 19. She's a sophomore at North Central University. Her name is Emma, and she's studying elementary education with a sign language minor. And then my youngest daughter is here at Chapel Hill. Her name is Lucy. She's in 8th grade. So this is my last year with her at Chapel Hill. She'll be going on to Southwest Christian High School next year. And I did homeschool my own children for a couple of years for each kid while we lived overseas. So I've done online homeschool, I've done homeschool with books, and we used to belong to a co-op when we lived here in Minnesota, and we were homeschooling at the very beginning. So I've done a little bit of everything, and so I'm really excited about this year in 1st grade. So let me just show you. This is where we do some of our morning counting, days of the week. We say the pledges every day, and if you're interested in a sheet that has the pledges on it, I can send that up to you. But what I really wanted to show you is right over here, and I'm hoping that this might be backwards, but in the camera here. We do something called the secret agent every day. I choose a name out of this container, and I don't tell the kids who it is. I make a big deal out of this, choosing the secret agent. And so all day long, the secret agent is kind of like my example of good behavior or behavior that might need some help. So I might say things like, oh, kids, the secret agent is doing really well. The secret agent has quiet hands. Their feet are under their desk. Their bottom is on their chair. Look around and see if you see someone who is doing those things. They might be the secret agent. Or if everybody is being loud, I might say, oh, kids, the secret agent needs help. Can you remind the secret agent what we're supposed to be doing right now? That's right. We're supposed to be getting our books out and our pencils out. Very good. That's good. Thank you for showing the secret agent. And then at the end of the day, if the secret agent has stayed on the green, which I will get to in just a minute, then the secret agent earns a point for the entire class. And if they do earn a point, I will tell everybody, oh, today it was so-and-so as the secret agent, and they all get excited, and I make a big deal of putting the point up. If they did not earn a point for everybody, I won't tell who the secret agent was, because I've told the kids I don't want to embarrass anybody. So I'll just say, you know what, the secret agent did not earn your points today. And it's pretty rare that happens, but I'll talk about that later in just a minute when I talk about the stop sign there. So once we get up to 10 secret agent points, then we have a special reward, like some playtime in the classroom if the weather is bad, or maybe an extra recess, or we might do a game, or might play like a fun video or something like that, like on Go Noodle. So there are incentives for getting up to 10 secret agent points. We also use a system called Give Me 5. You might have heard of this before. And I'll tell the kids, give me 5, and they all put up their hands with 5, and it says, eyes on the speaker, Ears listening, mouth quiet, body still, brain focused. And we have little actions for each one of them. And I will start the sentence and say eyes, and then they say on the speaker. So it's just a way of getting their attention again. In addition to these two things, later on in the school year, I'm going to introduce the app called Class Dojo, and that's a way for individuals to be earning rewards, earning points for good behavior. And some of the rewards that they might get at the 50-point mark and the 100-point mark would be things like bring a stuffed animal to school, or you get to sit in the teacher's chair, or you get to skip a spelling test. So they're all going to be things that don't require anything of mom and dad, they don't cost anything, and they're really fun for first graders. And then the stop signs here kind of play into what you might have read on the Parents Corner of the CHA website when we're talking about infractions and discipline procedures. So this is the first grade version of what you will read in much more detail in the parent handbook. So everybody has their names on a little clip here. And if they are staying on the green, it says they are on task, paying attention, following directions, being responsible, ready to learn, and listening. And we read over this every day. And then, for example, if a kid, I'll just call him Jimmy. If Jimmy is not following instructions or is talking too much, I might say, Jimmy, I'm going to have to give you a warning if you're not careful. And if they continue, then I will move Jimmy's clip down to the yellow, and the yellow says warning, think about your actions, and show me a green action to move back up. And so Jimmy has the opportunity then to show me a green action like listening or being ready to learn or following directions. And once they do those things, the clip will move back up to green. If Jimmy does not and continues in not following instructions or talking to his neighbor too much, then I will move the clip all the way down to the stop sign. And it says, stop, you've just lost 5 minutes of recess time, get back on task. And after they do their 5 minutes of timeout at recess time, I will move their clip back up to the green and they get to start over again. If the behavior continues after that 5 minutes of lost recess time, you'll receive an email from me and we will talk about how we want to proceed and I hate to say it this way, but how bad it was, how bad the infraction was. Like if there was, this has never happened, but like for example, if there was a fight or something like that on the playground, then it might be something like we need to have a conversation with the principal. That would be like very severe. But if it's just like, okay, Jimmy's having trouble focusing or Jimmy's not listening to directions, then it would be a conversation with mom and dad, and we would ask you to help us enforce that. Maybe have a conversation with Jimmy at home. So those are the kid version of infractions and our discipline procedures. The kids do really well with this. This is very concrete. This is something that they can understand. It's not too complicated, and they are very motivated to please. We actually set some goals this year for first grade, and I asked the kids, what are some of your goals for first grade? And I was expecting things like, I want to learn how to add, or I want to learn how to read. We had several kids say, I want to be kind. And some kids said, it's my goal to stay on the green all year. And I thought, yay! They're super motivated to please and to do well. So we are having just such a fantastic start of our school year. I'm going to show you down here. These are our floor mats. Each kid has a square, has a floor mat. And when we do our large group teaching or we do our morning meeting or we're reading a book, they put their masks on and I give them instructions to come sit down, and they each have their own square. They know where their square is, and we are keeping things pretty tight in the classroom, so there's not a lot of There's no sharing of supplies or anything like that. When we do group activities or when the kids are walking around or they're partnering up with a friend, I always tell them masks up and then I'll put you in pairs, things like that. So we're doing a really good job of keeping things clean in our classroom and keeping us COVID free. Thank you for praying for us as well. We really, really value that. Last year we had some parents take it upon themselves to do a really sweet project for us. They took pictures of each one of our kids and made, just on a piece of paper, a photo calendar. And so like the first day of the week had one kid's picture on it. The second day had another kid's picture on it. And so every day of the month, we prayed for a kid by name. In both classes. Back then we only had 2 classes. We had Mr. T's class and mine. And so this year we have 44 kids in first grade between the 3 classes. But we could double up on some of these kids, or we could do, we could just make the photo list of 45 names. And then we just continue into, like, the first month goes to 30 or 31, and then the second month we're on the bottom end of the list, and we'll just keep a running list. So we wouldn't necessarily be ending on the last day of the month, but anyhow, if anybody feels like they would like to take that project on, I think that would be a sweet way to teach our kids to pray for their friends. It would also help them to learn the names of kids in other classes because it has a little picture and the kid's name. And so we had a mom come in with her camera, and she just did, out on the playground one day, she just did click, 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 and lined everybody up and took a picture of them. And then she was able to make the calendar for our prayer time. And so if anybody feels inclined to do that, that would be a great, fantastic thing for your kids to learn how to pray for their friends. We also have a few opportunities for room moms to help out with some preparation of materials. We have Decodable Books, which you've probably seen, come home. A little bit of a difference from kindergarten is that the Decodable Books do not have to be returned to school. After we have circled our spelling words in it or circled the vowel sounds we've been discussing, that book can go home and your child can actually read it to you or read it to another sibling and color it even if it's got blank spaces to color. So those are for your kids. They're for your kids. And you'll see that they'll get harder and harder. They start off very simple at the beginning and then they get harder and harder. But we need someone who will pull out the decodable books out of these workbooks here behind me and staple them, fold and staple. And each decodable book has usually 2 full sheets that you fold in half to make 4 pages, and then it's front and back, so 8 pages total at the most. So if you've got a little time, or there's a TV show on that you like to watch and you could fold papers, tear them out and fold while you're watching TV, or get your whole family to do a conveyor belt kind of a process, anything like that would be really helpful. I had my kids over for dinner on Sunday 2 weeks ago, and I said, okay, I'm feeding you lunch, but because of that, I'm going to have to put you to work after lunch. And so we made a little system of tearing out and folding and stapling I think we got the first 6 weeks done, or maybe the first 3 weeks. I can't quite remember how far we got, but we have more to do. So that would be great. I already have one mom that has offered to punch out our math manipulatives and put them into Ziploc baggies. That's a big task, so I want to thank you. Thank you, Mom, for doing that. Let me think if there's anything else. We don't have any field trips planned at this point because of COVID. But when things open up a little bit and we are allowed to go places and do field trips again, we will be letting you know that we would like the help of some chaperones, some parent chaperones. And so that'll be a sweet time if you want to come and spend some time with your kids. one last thing I did want to mention before I close my little video here is now that it's starting to get cold out, it would be a smart idea to send a coat and mittens and a hat, or gloves and a hat, with your kids to school every day. Even if it does warm up by lunchtime and they don't end up needing it, it's always a good idea to have it. So, and I've been trying to train the kids too that it's their responsibility to get themselves dressed. I said, whose responsibility is it to put a coat on your body? Mine. Is it mom's? No. So you can reinforce that at home too, but just be aware that they might not want to wear a coat in the morning, or if they're just going from the house to the garage to the car, they might not feel that it's cold outside, but they do spend 20 minutes at least outside twice a day. And so it can get pretty chilly out there. And now that the weather is starting to get cooler, they're going to want those coats and hats and things like that. So if you have a child that is literally not prepared for the weather, like it's super, super cold out and they have no mittens or they have no coat at all, I'll have to keep them in from recess, and that's kind of a bummer for them. So we want them to be prepared for the weather. Other than that, you families are doing great with the snack list and sending appropriate food for lunch. So those things I really appreciate. Those are really wonderful. I appreciate that a lot. So that is about it for the unique things about my class. Obviously, each class is special and unique, but those are the things that I specifically wanted to communicate about my class. So I hope your kids are enjoying first grade. I am enjoying every single one of them. This is a sweet, sweet, sweet bunch of kids. They are very, very good. They are kind and loving to each other. They're excited about school and excited about learning the Bible and their Bible verses, and they're just enjoyable, very, very enjoyable. So thank you so much, and blessings to you. Bye-bye.